/AskReddit by Reddit. What is the quickest way you've seen someone ruin their life? A guy I used to work with told me his story when I asked him why he never drove in. One night, he and his buddies got loaded at a club. As they're walking out, he noticed that there was a limo sitting outside with the motor running and no one in sight. So he hops in and tells his buddies that he's going to joyride it around the block. Unfortunately, he's so blitzed he ended up crashing it into a light pole 100 feet away. Pause and think about the charges that are already amounting. So he gets out and starts to stumble away, at which point the officer who was waiting further up the block to catch potential DUIs runs down and cuffs his butt. Then he opens the back door and about 8 terrified high school students hop out. Turns out they were on their way back from prom and the limo driver had made the stop to swap drivers/shifts. So, in the space of about 5 minutes, this moron was facing no fewer than 5 felonies and almost 20 years later still doesn't have a driver's license. DUI, child endangerment, grand theft, kidnapping. What else am I missing? Edit. Consensus is that leaving the scene of an accident where there are injuries is likely a felony. Also, reckless driving is a good candidate. 18-year-old kid threw a brick through my store's front window and took off with $20,000 of cannabis. Ended up getting caught an hour later. He will probably spend 20 years in prison. Edit. The 20 years is for more than just the burglary. He was running from the cops. There was a vehicle pursuit. He hit several cars while fleeing. He also was 18 and not allowed to be in possession of cannabis in the first place. If I remember the jail booking report correctly, he also had a suspended driver's license, which I assume also means he had a previous criminal or at least juvenile record. Regardless, the dollar value of what was stolen makes it a felony. I was playing at a neighborhood friend's house. Bunch of dudes riding around and whatnot. A kid wanted to do a flip off a ramp on his bike. He had no helmet either. Kid attempted it and ducked it halfway. Landed on his back with bike on top of him. Like you could hear the sickening crunch on impact. We called paramedics. He couldn't do anything except lay there crying. My friend's mom didn't let me go home while they were loading him in the ambulance and tried to keep us inside. Come to find out he's paralyzed from the neck down. Edit. I realize a helmet wouldn't have done much, but it just kind of scared me watching them go by without one, then see this tragedy unfold. He couldn't do anything except lay there crying. Jesus, that's a tragic image. So helpless and so young. A dude drove up and tried to cut in front of several people in the drive-through line of a Whataburger. A security guard approached and told him loudly several times to back off and go to the back of the line. Instead of going to the back of the line, the guy decided it would be a better idea to ruin the rest of his life for a burger. He tried to run over the security guard, who ran out of the way to force his way further into the line. At this point, I don't know how he thought he was gonna get away. He had trapped himself in the drive-through lane. He never got his burger, and he sat at the window waiting for it until the police came and arrested him. If he wasn't ducked already, he made sure he was once the police arrived. He was extremely uncooperative and had a brief standoff with them. They had to tase him. I'm pretty sure he got a DUI in addition to whatever kind of attempted assault charges they were going to press on him. Oh, also, when they finally got him out of the car, it turned out he was only wearing underwear. Friend's birthday. Got super drunk. His friend offered him a ride home. When he wanted to leave, he ghosted. No one knew where he went. He drove home, or tried to, hit a tree on a road with a speed limit of 30. Police said he must have been going 70. They think he passed out. He's not smart anymore. He's Forrest Gump now, which means he's still smart enough to know he's dumb and remember what life used to be like. He can walk, but he'll never play sports. He gets upset when he forgets names. He's never going to be independent, and he knows it. He's attempted suicide at least once since the accident. Don't drink and drive. That's so sad. To be stupid enough to not be able to do normal things while being smart enough to realize you're stupid and can't do normal stuff you used to do. Damn, that's mental torture right there. Way back when they didn't have urinalysis testing in the Navy or any branch of service. That changed in 1982 shortly after I re-enlisted. I quit smoking weed. We were warned of the probable consequences if we got caught after the first Navy-wide test. One of my friends, a shipmate who worked directly for me, decided to not take heed because he only had less than 3 months left before his enlistment was over. He was caught on the next one and was given 45 days restriction and extra duty, loss of half a month's pay for 2 months and reduction in rank. Duck them. I remember him saying as he smoked a joint on the pier 30 days later, after he found out he had to take another urinalysis the next day. Instead of doing his last 2 months then getting his honorable discharge, he was out 2 weeks later with a bad conduct because he told the captain to suck his duck and threw a punch. He was given a choice: take the BCD or go before a court martial, then off to Leavenworth for a couple years. Screwed up this life. Guy did heroin at a party in high school in a rural area. Got caught, got clean before 18, got into construction, worked his way up the chain, owned several companies, 2 beautiful houses, beautiful wife, twisted his knee on a job site, went in for knee surgery, didn't disclose he'd been an addict 30 years prior. Thought 30 years clean removed him far enough. The painkillers they gave him brought the addiction back in full force. He returned to using heroin and stopped running his construction businesses and working to pursue being high. His wife took the kids and left him for being emotionally absent, and he defaulted on his mortgages and lost his 2 homes. He lost everything and ended up living out of his car. *EDITED for timeline clarity. My brother was a felon at age 18. Distribution plus firearm. In and out of prison/jail for 15 years. Age 33 he has a complete turnaround. Does the church thing. Becomes a contractor, making like $150k a year his first 3 years. His wife and he get in an argument. She leaves. He gets annoyed and buy a bottle of tequila. His neighbor comes over to check on him, as he is now in his basement firing his illegally obtained and owned AR-15 at photos and trinkets, etc. Well, the neighbor called the cops. Brother ends up in a standoff with them for a few hours. Now he is looking at a plea bargain of 8 years. There was a kid at my high school. Football player, funny kid, sorta dumb. We were seniors and ready to go off to college. He was going to play football at a school in the next state over. Then he got into doing prank videos and essentially posted videos of himself vandalizing stores, walking up to random people and saying stupid things to them, making messes in public places, etc. His college football coach found the page and kicked him off the team before he even got to college. Since then, his Insta page has been taken down. The kid isn't in college, and I feel sorta bad, but also, he's so dumb. Why did he ever think posting videos of himself doing harmful pranks would end up well? Some people go for a long time without ever hearing the words, "No, you can't do that." Sadly, the first time this guy heard it was from this college's football coach. My cousin. He was a good guy and very straight-laced. He had a house, had a great job despite being a high school dropout, and a beautiful wife. He was a super nice guy, dependable, and was always eager to help others. He got addicted to drugs in his mid-30s and became a hopeless alcoholic. Heroin, weed, crack, coke, you name it. Soon enough, he lost everything. He ended up squatting in his house for about 6 months without running water or electricity until the cops threw him out upon eviction. He's been quasi-homeless for about 4 years now. He fathered 2 children in 3 years with crackheads and has absolutely no way to pay for child support. He's lived briefly with relatives or friends, but gets kicked out after brief stays for stealing. He's in and out of jail constantly for vagrancy, theft, failure to pay child support, etc. Every once in a while he's able to convince a family member to help him out, but regret it after it quickly blows up in their face. No one will even answer his calls anymore. It's so sad to think about him now, knowing who he once was. TLDR, don't do drugs. Someone in my family was going to be a great professional hockey player. He was young and already in the junior league and so close of being recruited by the NHL. He was working out every day to be in the best shape possible. Then he was caught stealing from the other players in the locker room. He got beat up and then kicked out of the league. Apparently he had been stealing for a while. He was lucky that nobody pressed charges against him. His career ended that day, his bad reputation followed him everywhere, and no other team wanted him anymore. What a ducking idiot. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comment section below.